Hello, my name is Gene Monterastelli, and I am the editor of TappingQA.com. And the video that you are about to watch is an interview that I did as part of the 24 Hours of Tapping. The 24 Hours of Tapping was a free event, which was a fundraiser for the Peaceful Heart Network. The Peaceful Heart Network provides training and trauma relief tools to those in war-torn countries, as well as working with refugees all over the world. They've been able to help out over 200,000 people all over the world. After you watch this video, if you find this video something that was useful, the very easy way that you can say thank you to the guest for giving their time and sharing their expertise is to go to 24hoursoftapping.com/support and make a small contribution to support the Peaceful Heart Network. Again, that is 24hoursoftapping.com/support, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. We have my friend Carol Look. Carol Look is a licensed social worker, an EFT master, is an author, a speaker, a coach, trained as a psychotherapist and a hypnotist. Carol has studied EFT for over 24 years, became an EFT master under the mentoring of Gary Craig. Carol has taught abundance workshops all over the world, loves mentoring tapping students, has created EFT resources, including her popular book, Attracting Abundance with EFT. And Carol is the first person I ever bought a tapping training from. And it is so nice to know that 15 years ago, I was someone just buying a digital download from her website, and she is now someone who is my friend. And so without further ado, here is a conversation that was recorded a little bit earlier because Carol is traveling this weekend. But here is my conversation with Carol. When you think about the vibration of abundance, I always think it's important that we define terms so that we're all on the same page. So when you say the vibration of abundance, what does that mean for you? And then we can kind of dive in how we make that happen in our lives.
Well, what it means is that we often get caught on the money, on the abundance, on what we want, and on the stuff, and we forget that it's all about our emotional vibration.
Yeah.
It's how we feel energetically and emotionally if we want more abundance. We need to focus into the vibration part. And so many people skip that or they didn't learn it. I didn't know that until I learned it.
Right.
So it's really important to pay attention.
So then what does that look like? How does one pay attention to that before we start transforming that?
So think about how you feel about money. And usually people say, I want more money. Well, no, they do, but their come from is uptight and upset, and I don't have enough, and you don't understand. I need more money because I need to pay the bills. That's a vibration as much as, hey, there's freedom out there, lots coming to me. I have many opportunities. That's also a vibration. So you want to notice your mood. You want to notice your feelings. You want to notice your attitudes, because there are many attitudes about abundance. And again, abundance doesn't have to be money. It can be freedom for somebody. There are many attitudes out there and feelings that people think, oh, I'm not feeling that. Well, yeah, you are.
Right.
We all are.
And I think one of the things interesting, there's another project that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks around upper limits. And I think that the limiting beliefs about success are the sneakiest limiting beliefs because they're the ones that make the least logical sense. Like if I'm trying to grow my business and I need to put myself out there, like I have published things online and I have gotten horrific comments in response to that. So there's logic to me being afraid. Now I want to get over that. It's not the end of the world if that's the case, but I can logically see there is a danger for me taking action. But I think the ones about us being successful, and particularly the way that we're perceived when we're successful, are hidden because they seem so much like it's easier just logically to kind of dismiss it out of hand. This isn't something that should be a problem.
Right. We all care about how other people are viewing us. And that's because that's how we were raised. That's how we were taught. Don't let the neighbors see you. Don't let your cousins see you doing this. Don't tell anybody that we have money problems. Whatever the issue is, we're taught that. So then the idea of being really successful and shining can be a problem if you're worried that someone's going to take a shot at you. If you're worried that someone's going to say, hey, who does she think she is? Who does Gene think he is? So we worry about that, but we try to dismiss it without doing something like tapping. We try, oh, no, that doesn't matter. Well,
Right.
it does matter because it's operating. People say, how do you know it matters? It's operating in your system. How do I know it's operating in my system? Take a look at your balance sheet. Take a
Right.
look at your life. Take a look at your friendships. What's happening there? Again, the vibration in your friendships. Are you all getting together talking about how the economy is going down the tubes right now? What are you talking about? Where are you?
It's really interesting you say that. So I was last October, November, I was doing some work around some upper limit issues that I had in my business. Like there was a number that was a very satisfactory, wonderful number that my business could grow to. And $1 over that all of a sudden became something that was emotionally scary for me. And as I was creating some lifestyle changes, I needed to get beyond that number. And as I started doing that work, all of a sudden, and this is just one of those things where you're talking about the people you're around, what you feel comfortable with, all of a sudden, my dating life was all of a sudden filled with really, really successful people. Like all of a sudden it was just like, oh, like, and I wasn't doing anything consciously different. I was showing up in the same dating ads. I was doing things the exact same way, but for whatever reason, the people I started resonating with were people who were also open to success and abundance in lots of really amazing ways in their life, where it wasn't just this internal thing. And it wasn't just about me taking action for my business, but it's how I was showing up in the world that all of a sudden was creating different interesting interactions.
Yes. I was talking to someone this morning who said her family keeps saying, oh, isn't it nice that you're semi-retired? Oh, isn't it nice that you have a beautiful house and can work part-time? And I said, if those were your clients, you wouldn't care. Like you would say, oh, isn't that interesting? Tell me why you think that about your older sister who's been working. And I said, you need new people to hang out with. You can't hang out with people who make you feel guilty or criticize you for having what you want when that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yes. And what do we say? Yes, but no. If someone is saying, oh, nice, Gene, that you have a better lifestyle, it's like, good. That's what you've been looking for and working towards. And the vibration, think of the vibration of that envy and jealousy. And who do you think, that deserving, that's their feeling, but we get seduced into it. Oh, I don't want someone to say, who does Gene think he is? I want someone to say, great, you deserve it. Isn't that wonderful?
And as you mentioned too, like we're impacted and we're taught these things around us. And I think there's actually a much deeper root cause to that because, 7,000 years ago, if we were pushed outside of the tribe, we died. Like that's not hyperbolic. Like literally we needed the community to survive because of what was going on. And we carry that story with us on a deep subconscious, unconscious level. And so when we start to get these judgments about lifestyle choices and how we show up in the world, not only are we taking the stories from our parents of like, you're supposed to keep your head down and like, don't be boastful. Like there's that, but then there's the deeper level of, well, if those are the stories people are telling about me, then I die. Like that's what the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind is responding to.
The danger. So a lot of work I do is around safety for people to become more successful.
Yeah.
Because what they say is, oh, you don't understand. Life is too busy and it takes too much. And I don't have I'm not the kind of person that could be that way. The truth is they don't feel safe going up another notch. The truth is they're worried about what people say, what people do, and who will they be? If they have been viewing themselves as a bit of a failure their whole life, now what? Now what? You doubled your income and you've got a lifestyle choices that are wonderful that you've been working towards, and you look around and say, this isn't what I remember about myself. So the safety and identity issues are huge when you're working with raising the upper limits, trying to stretch those, the comfort zones. They're there for a reason.
Yeah. And so when I'm talking about my work and helping folks to take action, I always say, if you know what to do, you know how to do it, you know why it's valuable, and you're not taking action, therefore resistance of some sort must be there, which is a great thing to recognize. But just because I know resistance is there does not mean I know what the resistance is, know how to get to the root cause of it, know how to clear it. So once someone has come to the recollection that, okay, I know what to do and how to do it and why this is valuable, and they're not taking action, like you said, just look at the balance sheet or look at your relationship or look at your health and recognize something is holding you back. How then do you start to unpack that? How do you figure out what is the resistance, what is the limiting belief, so I can then have something to tap after?
So I say to people, respect your sabotage, respect your procrastination, respect your inaction. And they say, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're doing inaction, doing nothing to protect yourself. It's solving a problem. So your procrastination is solving a problem. So what you just said, you know what to do, you know why it's good for you, and you know you should be doing it, but you're not doing it. It's protecting something else. So there's some other part of you that feels afraid. So left brain says, I want to get there. Of course I do. Don't be silly. The other parts of you are saying, yeah, but it doesn't feel safe there. What is your yes, but? And of course I ask the questions, what would be the downside of reaching the success you've been talking about for years? Yeah. What are you concerned about? What do you think could happen when you're there? And you start to see it in them physically. They go, what do you mean? What? Right? It's the same. They start to show you physiologically the charges, the emotions, the yes buts. That wouldn't be safe. So just keep asking the questions. How does it serve you to stay where you are? Oh, I'm comfortable. I'm not rocking the boat. Right.
And I really like that question. One of the prefaces I like to stick on the beginning of a question like that is, I know you don't know the answer to this question, but if you did. And so instead of like having to like come up with the right answer, because one of the things, like when we're working with a practitioner, one of the things we do is we can be performative. Like I want to do a good job for my practitioner. Sometimes when I'm working on my own, like I'm trying to figure it out. That's why I'm sitting here and I'm tapping. And by going, I know you don't know the answer to this question, but if you did, what's the dangerous thing about you being successful? And so we're giving them permission not to come up with an answer, but to come up with the wrong answer, to come up with a guess, to come up with, which is not going to be the thing from here, but it's going to be the thing from further back in the subconscious mind that allows us to get some clarity about the accuracy of a statement like that. Yes.
And when in doubt, the answer that's guessed at or the answer that they come from is going to be about safety.
Right.
Well, because my old boss is going to, or because my sister or brother, or because my colleague is going to feel left behind when I leapfrog, financially into a new state of abundance or, a new place. So the questions are great at that. I know you don't know the answer to this yet. What do you think it could be if you had to guess? Because the same thing happens in all progress we want to make. So the same thing with weight loss. People say, well, I lost 30 pounds and at 31, I freaked out. And that's what you said about $1 more. And it's like, suddenly you are anxious and worried and concerned and having charges all over the place. Well, what's the real reason that scares you? Well, but what's the real, keep going. Keep going. It's scary to be successful because I love doing that too. It's scary to be successful because if I am, right. And they finish the sentence and suddenly, whoa.
And there's a really simple process called the 7 whys, where you just ask the question, and why is that? And why is that? And why is that? And you just keep asking it 7 times. And like slowly we're like getting more and more clarity as we step into something like that. And it's really interesting that, because we now live in a time and space where we get information very quickly and we move very, very quickly, like sitting with a question like that for any period of time is no longer something that is like our nature. Like it's not that I'm saying it's scary, but we're just used to moving so quickly that one of the things that I do when I'm brainstorming anything, trying to come up with a new idea or trying to come up with what are the limiting beliefs and the things that I'm stuck is once I run out of answers, I then set my watch for 5 minutes and I just sit with that question for 5 more minutes and just kind of like, there might be something extra in the subconscious mind and there might not, but just giving myself because 5 minutes isn't very much time, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, right, this is the thing that is there. And so giving myself permission not to like immediately have an answer to what the question like that, but going, okay, great. Let's muck around in the muck a little bit and see what comes forward as we do that.
Wonderful. We often also don't sit with the feeling. We say, no, I'm fine.
Right.
And that's a little bit when I get concerned that people do the positive tapping without having done any tapping on the real feeling is because they're saying no instead of like, oh, I am envious and it feels terrible. Oh, I do feel guilty and I don't like that feeling. Well, that's why do you think we jump away from it too quickly? Because it's not comfortable. So if we could just befriend the discomfort more and say, well, truth is don't like it, but I'm here. And I can feel it and I know it's true. I know it's resonating. I know my vibration about abundance is actually quite negative rather than optimistic. Like I've thought I should be optimistic and I don't feel it. Okay, well then own. That's what's so, awesome, of course, about the tapping is that we get to own the truth of our real feelings before we make space and make a bridge to go to, this is what I would really like instead.
Well, one of the things I really love doing, going exactly what you're saying is, I like using the phrase, I give myself permission to feel, and whatever that feeling is, and then I also say, and I give myself permission to be frustrated with the fact I'm feeling this emotion. So it's not just like, oh, it's this horrible emotion. Yay, I'm feeling a horrible emotion. But it's like you said, making friends with this part of us that's trying to keep us safe. So I give myself permission to feel this way because there's a part of me that's trying to keep me safe. I give myself permission to recognize it's overfunctioning right now. And I give myself permission to recognize I'm really frustrated by the fact that I'm stuck in this stupid emotion that I keep getting stuck in over and over again. And I think by honoring the emotion, but also honoring the emotion we have about the emotion gives us the ability to step into that. Because sometimes I think I could see it being a resistance to going after something like this because I have to go live in this negative emotion. And we know how quickly we can get out of it in tapping. And by giving ourselves permission to validate the fact that this sucks right now actually makes it a little bit easier to do the thing that is sucky. Anytime I have a really difficult task, it's like, okay, this is going to suck and it's going to take 9.5 minutes. I'm going to be on the other side of it. And by vocalizing out loud how frustrated I am with this thing, fully articulated emotions are short-lived. It's like, okay, I've taken a little punch out of that. I can step into it and I can wallow around in this this stuff that can be unfun that you're talking about right here.
Well, when people say, well, why does tapping work again? I can cite all the research I want, but what's not involved in the research is how do you measure the power of validation?
Yeah.
How do you measure the power of honoring our feelings, the worst ones that we've been running from for decades, the ones that we don't want to show? I had a client say to me one time that it was all about shame. And I said, oh, this is new. You've never said that before. He said, I was too ashamed to tell you that I was ashamed.
Yeah.
That's human. That's who we are. Welcome to it. So fear, shame, guilt, that unsafety, it can be difficult to understand that success feels unsafe to us.
Yeah.
Because of all the self-help gurus and everything that's going on that is rah. Who doesn't want to be successful? Well, 90% of the population wants to, but is terrified of what could change.
Yeah.
What's going to move, what's going to change in your relationships, in your finances, in the view of your view of the world and the world's view of you. It's change. No, I don't know anybody who loves change.
Yeah. I mean, the subconscious mind will choose the predictably bad over the unpredictable just because it's manageable in that way. Right. And the other thing I think is really key that you just said inside of there about your client, it took him a while to actually say that there is shame there. And I think this is a benefit of the tapping community maturing over the course of the last decade is we spend much less time talking about 1 minute and 1 session miracles. I always thought that was something that those things happened, but they undermine expectations and what's going on here. And the fact that it took a number of sessions for you to get to a client being at a place where they could say out loud they were ashamed. On one hand, oh man, it took so many sessions. The other is they got there. The fact that you're incrementally getting the way we become more comfortable inside of our own skin with success typically is an incremental process. And there's a part of us, one of my favorite phrases to tap on right now with my clients is, I know this is a process and I'm tired of the fact that everything has to be a process. Yes. Giving ourselves even permission to acknowledge that as we're going through this, there's a part of us, that impatience is the part of us that wants us to be safe and successful instantly. And that's an emotion that can get in the way of us doing the work.
Yes. What I call the hurry up universe. So people say, I've been doing everything right. And they have a little temper. I've been doing everything right and it's not here yet. Well, right then, as frustrating as it is, that vibration, darn it, I've been doing everything right, is in fact closing the door to abundance. Right. And we can't stand that. I follow it, I do it, I understand it, I've been there, I continue to go there. I'd love to do some tapping, Gene, on the truth, which is that we are afraid of becoming more successful, and that fear is a vibration and kind of muddies up the joy and wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be exciting if we could get there? That's what we want. Everybody says we want the thing. We don't want the thing. We want how it makes us feel,
That's
the
right. The
lifestyle
outcome of it. Yeah.
outcome of it. So tapping on basic fear could get beginners to change their lives.
Mm-hmm.
They committed to just the truth of what they're afraid of, because we all have different fears from our families, from life. So if we did a fear of success under the title of the vibration of abundance, then the fear gets neutralized, and then you open up to possibilities of like,
Yeah.
fear is very loud.
Yeah.
Even the fears that we shut down, they're very, very loud.
Fear always wins. Like the reason we are alive as creatures is fear always wins. And so even when the fear is small, it's going to overrun other emotions. And so I think it's good for us to hear that out loud.
Okay. So this is super simple, and everybody tries to get a little complicated about success issues and abundance. It's not complicated.
Yep.
You have to be persistent and do it every day, and it's a process. Yep. And then you start to bump up, and you'll see all the changes. The changes show up in your life. People say, how am I going to know if this is working? Trust me, you'll know the same way you know when things aren't working.
Yep.
Right? How do you know when the relationship isn't working? Oh, you know.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's try simple.
Yep.
Even though the truth is, I'm afraid to become more successful.
Even though the truth is, I'm afraid to become more successful.
I'm afraid it's going to rock the boat.
I'm afraid it's going to rock the boat.
And I like things the way they've been.
And I like things the way they've been.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself anyway.
I deeply love and accept myself anyway.
Even though the truth is, I'm afraid to be successful.
Even though the truth is, I'm afraid to be successful.
I'm afraid to shine more.
I'm afraid to shine more.
What are they going to say?
What are they going to say?
What if it rocks the boat?
What if it rocks the boat?
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
My broad point. I'm afraid it's going to rock the boat.
I'm afraid it's going to rock the boat.
My success always rocks the boat.
My success always rocks the boat.
Change always rocks the boat.
Change always rocks the boat.
Can I be okay with that?
Can I be okay with that?
I'm okay with my fear.
I'm okay with my fear.
I'm allowed to be afraid.
I'm allowed to be afraid.
And I can also let it go.
And I can also let it go.
But the truth is, I am afraid of rocking someone's boat.
The truth is, I am afraid of rocking someone's boat.
Including my own.
Including my own.
Deep breath.
So it's really interesting as we go through that. I was, as we stepped into it, I was tuning into a place I'd like to grow in my business. And what's really interesting is that before it was kind of like this thing that was big and solid. And what has happened is the fear is just as strong as it was before, but there's also this part that is accepting and taking action. And it's almost like it went from this blob to like these two cores that are side by side that are as equally as powerful. And so it's not like action is now magic and easy, but there's a little more space going, oh, okay, these two things exist concurrently. It's not like I have to turn one down in order to turn the other up. They're two experiences that I'm having simultaneously. And I've never had that exact experience with fear and action before. It's interesting.
And fascinating. So remember that fear, nothing muddies our thought process more than fear, because it literally scrambles the brain and how it works and the fight or flight system. So that's why fear is so important. And the number one emotion that people need to tap on is because you may think you're intelligent and clear and you got action steps and all that, and fear will wipe it all out, make the whole thing gray area. So you can still have your fear, but now there's clarity coming out. And, I could do this small step next, and I could do, right? Okay. So let's skip the hand right now. And just go right here. I still have this fear of shining.
I still have this fear of shining.
I still have the fear of standing out.
I still have this fear of standing out.
No wonder my vibration is a little confused.
No wonder my vibration is a little confused.
No wonder my vibration has been a little muddy.
No wonder my vibration has been a little muddy.
I'm a little afraid to shine.
I'm a little afraid to shine.
What if they criticize me?
What if they criticize me?
What if I criticize me?
What if I criticize me?
I am afraid to shine.
I am afraid to shine.
Because I'm assuming it's going to rock the boat.
Because I'm assuming it's going to rock the boat. And what's interesting is, I'm afraid to shine. And the tail ender that immediately showed up is because I now have the opportunity to let more people down. And it was almost like an audience of this big is safe and manageable because I know how to respond to an audience that is this big. An audience that is this big is no longer safe and manageable.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, because I don't have the personal touch that I have with a smaller community, then I'm in a circumstance, well, since I don't have the personal touch, I can't hear the needs as much. And people are going to be disappointed because I can't show up for that many people the way I can show up for this many people.
Cool. Fabulous, right? And just that idea of, you got your because.
Yeah.
So people keep running into action and they have no idea really what they're doing. They're following some template and they don't know they're going to hit the brick wall. Let's knock down the brick walls, at least low enough.
Yep.
So that we can step over them and say, well, if your vibration is mixed, part positive, part negative, yes, no, means nothing.
Right.
Means inaction. Well, what would make my vibration more towards happier, higher towards abundance, like really feeling resonance, resonating with abundance, right?
Yep.
It's optimistic. It's excited. It's passionate. They can be upset. So I tell my groups of people, I say, don't think we're going to change how other people react to you. We're not even going there. People, oh, you are going to rock the boat. And someone said, don't say that. Oh no, you are going to rock the boat. Yeah. Then we take it off the table. We know people's boats are going to be rocked. That's okay. They're going to feel uncomfortable with your change. You're going to feel uncomfortable with it. Get neutralized. So yeah. Oh, look, I've changed. Oh, look, earning double, triple changes things. Oh, people reacting to me differently. Isn't that fascinating? Rather than put a lid on it, back up. We don't want to back up. We don't want to keep backing up. We go forward and back up. We want to keep moving forward, which means optimistic, excited. What else could happen? What are other possibilities than my just being concerned about how other people view me because of my success? What else could happen?
And I love the word that you use, fascinate. A million years ago, I studied NLP with Will Horton. And whenever a client would share something, that was always his response. That's fascinating. And being able to approach whatever our internal response is from a disposition of curiosity gives us the ability to understand it in a different way, because curiosity in pure curiosity, there is no judgment. In my very human curiosity, there's a lot less judgment because there's still a little judgment that is in there, but going, this is the piece of information that came forward. It's fascinating. Which doesn't make me wrong for feeling it, but instead it's like, oh, here is a new data point. As we started recording this, it started to rain, and after we're done, I'm going to run some errands, and so that's a data point. And it's not like it's not good, it's not bad. It's like, oh, it's raining, therefore I need to make different choices. No, curious, what do I do with this? And being able to take that internal stuff makes it easier for us to navigate in this particular way as well.
So same thing for abundance. When you see that things aren't working out, or the bank account or the relationships or whatever you want is looking off, like what happened to my moving forward. Isn't that fascinating? What it tells you, it's just feedback. It's just information, is that you've got some of the vibration is towards it and some of the vibration is backing up. That's all it tells you. And what we do is we get upset and we get impatient and we get frustrated. Those are okay too. But how about, oh, cool. This is, now I can do something. That's what used to frustrate me. I didn't know what else to do. I did what my family taught me to do. Work harder, work harder. And so it goes against the grain to not work harder in order to get more abundance. It doesn't, the word vibration, do you think I ever heard that word growing up? Vibration right? So it is fascinating. And if we can make it interesting, fascinating, and information, then it's like, oh, I get to do something with this information. Yes.
So then what's the next step is this? Is we're just kind of like slowly chipping away the sense of insecurity and fear. What do we do next?
So to be in resonance with abundance, you need to keep working on the vibration. So you need to catch yourself when you're going the wrong way and closing the door. And then you need to promote yourself going the right direction. Is owning and validating and gratitude and appreciation. Fixate on what's going well. People are like, oh, no, but you don't understand. No, I understand what's not going well. No, fixate, focus, give your undivided attention to what's going really well in your life. Yeah, but I know there are. I'm just asking you to change the dynamic during your day or your week to spend more minutes a day, more hours a week saying, this is really going well, because that will change your vibration. Yeah, but I'm not focused on abundance. Yes, you are. You're focused on good stuff. You're focused on feeling good. You're focused on gratitude. I know, but I don't want to do a gratitude list. Do a gratitude list, right? Do tapping. The bonus I have is gratitude tapping. So go ahead and that's an energy that will raise your vibration, that'll bring more abundance in. And people say, no, what about the money? The energy of appreciation changes your vibration and brings more abundance in the door.
So I like this idea of doing a gratitude list. And I think it's one of those things that we've spent so much time in the transformational space talking about that it's something that we have a tendency to pay a little lip service to. And it's like, yes, I would do gratitude practice. I'm like, I love this and I love that and I love this. And those are words that are coming out of my mouth, yes, which do not have any sort of internal emotional resonance around that particular thing. Just because I say I am thankful doesn't actually mean I am experiencing that in any sort of tangible emotional way. Do you have any insight or thought or way to help people to make sure that as we're doing something like that, we're really leaning in and getting a true emotional experience of being able to stay in that spot of heading in the right direction and not just going, oh, I'm heading in the right direction?
I would say to continue to acknowledge and validate what is going on. So sometimes I'll say, even though I don't feel very grateful, I do it with tapping. Even though I don't feel grateful right now, and I think I should do a gratitude list, I'm okay with where I am. And what happens, of course, that calms you down and you start feeling and getting into the emotion. Now, it's the same thing with tapping. If your intention is to tap on fear of something and you're not really in the feeling, it doesn't work because you're not in it. You can't edit it. So it's the same principles that you got to be in it, right, to really go there. So I do it with tapping because otherwise it becomes a left brain issue and just shoot, what time is it? I got to do my gratitude list. That doesn't do anybody any good. Doesn't do you any good. It becomes a chore. It's a check it off. Did I check it off? Yep. So I do it with tapping because then you're involving the body and the physiology and the energy of it. And the worst that can happen is you go, I wasn't so grateful today. So what? Right. Again, if it becomes a chore and a have to, you're not going to do it.
Right.
Any more than morning walk.
Yeah. And I find, like for me, one of the things I've gotten just really good at is just being able to tap with my left hand and write with my right hand. Yes. And, just the old yellow pages, let your fingers do the walking. But like, as I'm doing if I'm doing a written version of a gratitude list, like tapping while doing it, because by showing up and down regulating the emotion, we're much more likely to engage with it in that particular way.
Absolutely. Let's do one more of these. So we just acknowledge and validate that we feel negative or we're not feeling well. Yep. And we still have good stuff going on.
Great.
It's this idea of having to separate it and say we're not allowed to have negative feelings. That's the poison. That's what's not good for any of us. Okay. Even though I have some uncomfortable feelings. And I'm not feeling very grateful today. I accept myself anyway. Even though I don't feel very appreciative today. And I don't want to do my gratitude list. I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. I don't feel very grateful. And I'm okay with that. I have a lot of feelings right now. And I don't want to force myself to feel grateful. I feel kind of down. And I appreciate the space I'm giving myself. I appreciate that I acknowledge and honor my own emotions. I appreciate all of my emotions, even the difficult ones. Eyebrow. I appreciate so much in my life. I appreciate a lot of the freedoms that I have. I appreciate a lot of my tools. And I appreciate what a good friend I am. And I'm grateful for the space I give myself. I do feel more grateful than I thought.
I do feel more grateful than I thought.
I appreciate what I'm doing for myself.
I appreciate what I'm doing for myself.
And I appreciate taking care of myself.
And I appreciate taking care of myself. I just feel like more expansive, just like shoulders are back, more relaxed. And it's not like I'm going to go do a bunch of things, but it's like I can go do some things, you know? And sometimes we have this sense of like I've had times, and I bet you've had this experience as well, where like I'm like 80% of the way into a client session and my client's like, I just need to get off the phone right now because I need to go do the things because I'm ready to go do the things. It's like, yeah, okay, great. Like, you don't need to spend more time with me, go do that thing. And sometimes it's just like, okay, I can now take on the day in a way that is a little more productive than it was before. And I think the goal of my tapping consistently is better. Not perfect, not all the way, but like if I could invest like we just did there 3.5 minutes and I am in a better resource state because of that, perfect investment of 3 minutes of my time.
Certainly is. I mean, think of that, calming us down so we can access what's there, which is already brilliant. Nobody's giving it to you. You've got it. We all have it, right?
Yeah.
Well, we can't do anything under duress.
Yeah.
We can't do anything well under duress.
Yeah.
Deep breath, calm it down, love the vibration that you're in, and move towards the vibration that's really more positive and that's going to help you get what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as I am on an upward trajectory towards the thing I want to do, that's what I can hope for. And that's a great place to be.
Good. Good.
Awesomeness. Excellent. Well, Carol, thank you very, very much for your time. I always love a chance to chat with you.
Wonderful being with you, Gene. Thanks for doing this for everyone.